Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here on such short notice. This place isn't bugged, is it?
Bugged? Wait, Jamie, what's going on?
It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
That's all I paid for it.
I think I need to get back to you on that.
Do you know what you want?
Yeah, I do now.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. Get the car or SUV you've always wanted, plus America's best warranty at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. The guilt is real, but so is the savings.
Listen, I don't want to get in your business, but if that's all she paid for it, I'll have what she's having.
It's a great day for a new Hyundai at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event going on now. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Palisade, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe hybrid models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from downtown Baton Rouge.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We'll dive into LSU's Pro Football Focus grades from this weekend. That's something we'll do every Monday here. We might talk in 1 hour a smidge, if we can shoehorn it in, about Alabama losing in Tallahassee. I don't know if we'll have time. I'll try to make it work at the start of next hour. We'll see. I don't know if it's actually why we have Peter Burns on right now, so we can talk about that game, because I may not have time later. Let's welcome Peter to the show.
This week in the SEC with Peter Burns.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Let's separate the contenders from the pretenders.
Number 11 of the defense, throwing the LSU player's shoe 20 yards down the field.
With Peter Burns of the SEC Network, presented by Blue Delta Jeans.
So specific on the yardage that the cleat traveled 20 yards down the field. PB, Peterman, check out Channel 9. Check out this chick. What's up, Peterman?
Hey, Dave, we did it. We did it. Unbelievable. Are you kidding? How many times have I come on this damn show the first weekend or the first Monday
Labor Day
after the season and been like, what the hell happened? And then finally, they broke through and they reminded me of the old LSU Tigers that we fell in love with, Matt. I mean, this is like, I'm ready to hurt again. I'm ready to hurt again.
I don't know we're going to hurt too much this year, man. That's what happens when you spend $18 million on a bunch of grown men. Hey, what was more significant, LSU's win or Alabama's loss?
I don't think there's a doubt that it's LSU's win because of everything that went along with it. And I think they kind of go hand in hand, right? You're talking about, obviously, you get over the schneid of 5 in a row. You get over the schneid that BK finally gets the one, the marquee win, the road win. But it's also a litmus test of where you're at you got pressed against, I think, a fairly talented offense. I think, obviously they struggled to run the ball, but I think that was more of a product of what Blake Baker and this defense did. And let's be honest, this thing, the SEC at 6 p.m. Eastern was dead and buried. Texas had lost to Ohio State, albeit a good game, and Alabama got pushed into a locker by a team that went 2-10 last year. So the obituary for the entire the conference was done until LSU swooped in and saved the day.
Yeah, I mean, so many reasons that was massively significant. Would you put them right now, LSU right now, as the top team in the league?
In the league, yes. What the hell do I know about Georgia against Marshall, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, how much did we learn about A&M and Marcel Reed throwing 4 touchdowns against my former squad, UTSA? Like, we don't really know that much after week 1 unless you test yourself. And there was a lot of LSU fans, including myself, that wonder, I'm like, dude, why don't we just go ahead and schedule like Indiana football and get Kent State Tech, Amish School of Technology in week 1 and just get it out of your system, right? And now I'm glad we didn't. And the fact that you went out there and you punked Clemson in their own building. I mean, that's as dominant of a second half of football that I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, seriously, like it was complimentary. Sloan was in his bag. I mean, the wide receivers were making plays. Defensively, they looked different. I mean, this was, I don't even know how to explain it, man. I mean, it's the first time in like 8 years that I felt this way.
I'm glad you brought up Sloan, too, because there is a contingent of the LSU fan base. I think, honestly, PB, I think it's just people that don't know any better. And so they just go, man, the play call, Sloan. It's just the convenient target. But what did you see from Joe Sloan?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a guy that was probably more comfortable in calling plays and more unique looks that I remember. My dad and I were sitting there watching it, and I'm like, do you ever recall seeing that play? Like, Xavier Thomas, I'm like, what's that? I mean, just it looked different. The pacing was different. And I don't know if it was, and you guys might get the answer to it. I don't know if it was Nuss checking to it, but when they went to the same play, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row, like we would if I was playing like Xbox or PlayStation, I loved it because it was, we always wonder, like, if it works, why do you not keep doing it? And they do it 3 times in a row because of a different look. I'm like, that's because Nuss is comfortable. Sloan's giving him that part, or Sloan called it one way or another. I loved it. And it just feels like it's complementary football in different ways. It's not only just what Nuss can bring because of the rushing attack or what the offensive line did, but it's also the play calling for Sloan and the way that Blake called it as well too. I just thought it was nice to have a smile on my face on Labor Day Monday. We haven't had a chance to do that in a long time.
Oh man, Peter Burns, SEC Network at Peter Burns ESPN, courtesy of Blue Delta Jeans. Hey, you're there at the studios on game day. So people like me, I wasn't in Clemson, so I got to watch a lot of football. But if you're in a stadium somewhere, you're really just covering one game, PB. So a lot of people miss a lot. Yeah. What's the storyline from Saturday? When everybody was watching Texas, Ohio State, Bama, Florida State, LSU, Clemson, what's the storyline from Saturday nobody saw?
Well, I mean, the story that probably, I would say nobody saw. I think it's just some of the debuts looked really good. I think John Mateer for Oklahoma, it's Illinois State, right? So who knows? But, just the way that he looked, and that, of course, LSU faces them in the last game of the season. Mateer, I had on my show on SEC Network this morning, and that guy's a dude, man. He's built to disrupt, and I thought that was impressive. Listen, when it comes down to it, the story is still going to be Alabama getting absolutely punked by Florida State. I know we all watched it. I know LSU fans absolutely loved it. And it's just, dude, the mystique, and I know that you've talked about it, Bama is burning, but the mystique is done. It's absolutely done. I remember being on the field every time you'd watch LSU and Bama play, and as hype as you were, when Bama came out of the locker room, you're like, oh, crap. Like, it was just, the cyborgs that didn't give a damn about you, and they were going to disrupt your whole family's life. And then now I think everybody looks at Alabama, Moscona, as an opportunity, like a wounded animal that they can finally parade around. it's not completely dead because people still rush the field after beating Bama, but there's going to come a day where Alabama's going to lose, and the home team is going to sit there and go, yeah, good victory. And that's going to be an absolute gut punch when it doesn't mean anything to beat Alabama.
Huh. You think they still have a pulse?
I do. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not like Kalen DeBoer or Ryan Grubb and those guys they forgot how to coach. It was just, I think, honestly, what happened, they went out there, they went 16 plays, 75 yards, 9-minute drive, and pumped them on the first drive, and they're like, oh, I mean, it's FSU. They were 2-10 last year. It's done. And Thomas Castellanos had a little Diego Pavia in him. Gus Malzahn damn sure had something in the bag for him. And Alabama was caught flat-footed. And defensively, I mean, they just looked. Everything that Bama looked is what I've seen out of LSU sometimes. They're like, oh my God, that was just. Why can't they piece it together? And it's flipped. I mean, I'll spin it to you and back. Right now, do you fear Alabama?
No, I haven't feared him since Nick left. I understand what happened last year in Baton Rouge, but that's an LSU problem because LSU's defense was atrocious and couldn't tackle a quarterback. I mean, that wasn't a Bama thing. That was Lenora Sellers. That was Marcel Reed. That was every running quarterback they played last year. No, I mean, why should you? Their culture's gone. They're not good at the line of scrimmage, on either line of scrimmage. Florida State just ran for 230 yards against them. Like, no, they're not good, Peter. They're not good.
I also think, in talking to people down in Alabama, this comes from people that are close to the facility, not inside the facility, but people that are around
their facility
Alabama
adjacent.
Football.
They're sort of like not in the main hall, but like in the T building next to the main hall.
Yeah, arms length.
Got it.
Let's just put it that way. And I think that there was a lot of people, and I think LSU was like this for the first year or two, or NIL and transfer portal, where it's like, I mean, we are who we are. We can cherry pick a couple of players here and there, and we'll be fine. But we're Alabama. We don't need to do all of this stuff. That's below us to a certain extent. And I think now you realize when people go in heavy at the transfer portal, really, listen, the best thing that happened to LSU was Bryce Underwood flipping. I've been on that wall since the day that he flipped, and all of a sudden it felt like there was a new energy around LSU about like, all right, we're going to take that money that was going to go to Bryce, we're going to put it in other places that have depth where we really need it. And Bryce Underwood may be great, but what we're seeing right now is the fruits of Bryce Underwood flipping and being able to be like, all right, that hurt our feelings. Let's get after it in the transfer portal. And I think that's the difference maker. Blake Baker's got ingredients in the cupboard. Joe Sloan's got some depth right now. Nussmeier's got some help. Like that's going to be the best thing that happens to LSU, at least early in the season.
He's on Twitter at Peter Burns, ESPN. One more for you. Gus Malzahn, Hugh Freeze, Gus's former school. That feels like a really significant win for a guy that feels like he's teetering on the plains. What did you see from Auburn on Friday night against Baylor?
Yeah, like as a golfer that's struggling with your swing, you're like, dude, the first hole's got out of bounds on both sides. And I could blow this thing out of bounds and shoot 86, right? Like, and just be terrible.
Good analogy.
And then all of a sudden they striked it. And I think Jackson Arnold is a guy that if you get him into a routine and you feel good about it, he's going to have success. And he needed that. I mean, that guy, like Sally, was it Sally Struthers that used to do the commercials for the dogs, like the ASPCA or whatever it is?
Well, no, I remember Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan, like the eyes of the angel.
Yeah, in the arms of the angel.
It was like a 2-minute-long commercial, and I'd have to cry every time and change it. Right. Like, that's what Jackson Arnold felt like when I interviewed him over at Media Days. He felt like a guy that had been, like, just seeing some stuff at Oklahoma, and he needed to see some success. And I mean, that game shouldn't have been close. Everybody was making it to be a close game, and I said it before, and like, why are we overthinking this? If Auburn's roster is as good as they say it is, and it's good, and if they can't compete, and I love Dave Aranda for everything he did for this football team, but if they couldn't beat Baylor, they shut it all down. I mean, so I wasn't that surprised with what happened, but it was still a big victory for him.
Jackson Arnold still got to prove he can throw the football, but running for 137 certainly helped Auburn pace to a 2-touchdown win against Baylor. He's Peter Burns, SEC Network. He'll be with us on Mondays, chopping it up after the weekend that was.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
I need help though.
Okay.
I'm legitimately need the Baton Rouge LSU help. Obviously, LSU, Florida, me and Doring have the wager every single year. I lost the damn thing last year. I had to dress up as a stupid band member for the Gators. So it's week 3 now.
Yeah.
We have no idea what we're going to do for our bet.
Okay.
Like no idea. So I need people to call in or text or carrier pigeon, whatever, because I'm coming in town for that game. I already told SEC Network I ain't working. I'm coming to Baton Rouge because I got to watch that game. So I need help on figuring out what our actual bet in studio is going to be for the Monday after LSU Florida this year.
Okay, we'll get on it, PB. It's
thank you.
It's going to go well for you this year with that bet.
Listen, who throws a shoe? Honestly, who throws a shoe?
He's Peter Burns. Never throws a shoe, but he's always bringing it here. Thank you, sir.
See you, boys.
We'll see you. That's Peter Burns. It's AFR.
AFR.
Watermark Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. 2 great hotel properties in Baton Rouge. Of course, the Watermark voted by you the best hotel in the Best of 225 Awards Renaissance. This Friday is where the LSU Tigers will be. They're home away from home on the Friday before every home game. They're right there. It's where LSU sets up shop at Renaissance Baton Rouge. So you need to host your event. Why not go to the place that LSU football trusts for the Friday before home games? I mean, look, they can't be staying on campus because, it's a madhouse. So they get them away. They go to Renaissance. They have team meetings there. They have their team meals in the big grand ballroom. They can host 500 people. That's where they set up the tables for all the team meals. They had the other rooms for breakout rooms for position group meetings. Point is, no matter what size group you have or what event you have coming up, their space at Renaissance Baton Rouge can accommodate you. So call Allison Crump today over at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
LSU's defense is finally back. We've been waiting for this Blake Baker defense to show what they could do. Last year, they struggled about middle of the pack, especially when it came to stopping the run. But this year, they were able to be dominant, specifically Harold Perkins Jr. You saw him all over the field, specifically a critical 4th down play to win the game where he sacked Cade Klubnik at the end of the game. Harold Perkins Jr. has played a couple different positions, on the ball linebacker, off the ball, but finally they found a spot for him to thrive, and that's what stands out for me. Not just Garrett Nussmeier on offense, but Harold Perkins Jr. on defense.
That's Sam Acho. Perkins, just point of clarification, Perkins didn't sack Klubnik at the end of the game. He did have a sack near the goal line when they were first and goal from the 4, the 10-yard loss where Klubnik, it looked like he got the pass off, then on review, his knee was down. Well, they didn't review it, but we later noticed his knee was down when he threw that ball, so it was a loss of 10. That went down as a sack for Perkins. It was amazing to see Harold Perkins running around out there, looking like the Harold Perkins that we saw in his freshman year. And I know I've mentioned this before, but you look statistically, Perkins in 2020, and I will die on this hill. Perkins in 2023 was a good player for LSU. They tried to make him an off-ball linebacker at the start of the season. He got caught up in the wash against Florida State. They moved him to that nickel Sam role, and he stuffed the stat sheet. He had 13 TFLs, 5.5 sacks. He had 6 passes defended, had an interception. He had 75 tackles. He was all over the field. It was just an atrocious defense. So even if Harold Perkins made a play, it just sort of went unnoticed because you'd put a team behind the sticks and they'd convert 3rd and 18 because LSU's defense was the worst ever that year. And then last year, of course, he was injured. So on this defense in particular, with so much talent everywhere, and especially the ability to cover in the back end, it frees up Harold Perkins to be the version of himself that we know he can be. How impactful was that, man? We saw him blitz, obviously, and bring the pressure. He got the sack. Whenever Cade Klubnik, one of the adjustments Garrett Riley made was Cade Klubnik running the football as soon as they started that. Just fanned that out in a hurry with Perkins spying him, and that ended in a hurry. Just so impressive and so fun to see Harold Perkins. Brian Kelly, after the game, was asked specifically about Harold Perkins and the key for him being so effective in this game. BK talked about it after.
Harold is coming on. He's healthy. He's at a position that has been one where he's had success, and Blake can utilize him now as the player that he is. As you saw, he pressured the quarterback a lot. That allows you got to play some man-to-man. We weren't in that position last year to play a lot of man. And, of course, we lost him to the knee injury. So it's just a different roster with different players, and it allows Blake now the tools necessary to utilize Harold in the manner that he can best impact the game.
Now, what's worth noting is that they did throw at Harold Perkins 3 times, and all 3 passes were caught. But he had 3 pressures, a sack, a quarterback hit, another quarterback hurry, 4 tackles in the ball game. And, of course, what Sam Acho was talking about was on that last play, the heave that was incomplete by Cade Klubnik on the 4th down play. That was Perkins pressuring Klubnik on that play, which forced the errant throw. So Perkins was awesome in this game. And naturally, something we're going to do every Monday here is we're going to look at Pro Football Focus grades. Naturally, Perkins was one of the standouts. I want to look at offense, defense, what was good, what was bad. Since we're talking defense, let's start there. Your top 5 graded players from Pro Football Focus were Mansour Delane, Patrick Payton, Bernard Gooden, A.J. Halsey, and then Harold Perkins was 5. What stands out about the first 4? Delane, Payton, Gooden, Halsey. 4 transfers. I mean, you go and spend the money LSU did to add not just bodies, but veteran dudes with skins on the wall. That's what it's like. I mean, Mansour Delane had the interception in the game. He made 2 tackles. He was targeted 8 times. They had 1 catch against him. Of course, we mentioned he had the interception. He graded out an 81.3. He was incredible. He will be your number 1 corner. Someone asked me last week when Halsey was suspended, do I think they might move Delane to safety? And the answer was absolutely not, because he's your best corner. And he showed why. Patrick Payton, first play of the game, he deflects the ball at the line of scrimmage. On the interception by Mansour Delane, it was Payton providing pressure that caused Klubnik to sail the football. Bernard Gooden didn't stuff the stat sheet. He only had 2 tackles in the game, but he was, he had 4 quarterback. He had 2 tackles. He had 4 quarterback hurries in this game. Like, what was the thing we talked about with Bernard Gooden all offseason, all fall camp? That first quick step, his ability to get penetration up the middle. Dude had 4 quarterback hurries in 39 snaps. That's the other thing that shouldn't be overlooked about this game. LSU defensively played 58 snaps. Look at the rotation specifically on the defensive line. Remember, 58 snaps as a defense. Payton played 39. Gooden played 39. Dom McKinley played 24. Jamari Butler played 19. Pyburn played 39. Ahmad Bro played 17. Gabe Relaford played 20. Guillory played 27. You see my point? The point is, no one has to be out there. Like, God bless Gio Paez last year, never came off the field. And he was an undersized nose. Now, you don't have anybody who played 40 snaps. I mean, Payton, Gooden, and Pyburn all played 39. That's the most the most snaps you had from a defensive lineman. It was fantastic to see. I'd also be remiss if I didn't point out DJ Pickett. I mentioned the top 5. 6 on that list was Pickett. And when you have a true freshman cornerback and nobody even noticed he was on the field, generally a good thing. DJ Pickett played 25 snaps in the ball game. He had a 67.5 grade. His tackling grade was a 73. His coverage grade was a 67. They targeted him just once. He did not allow a completion. I mean, that's what happens when you're a tarantula draped all over a receiver. They look your way and they don't throw it toward the 6'5 guy that can turn and run and cover. So great debut for DJ Pickett. Expect his role just to continue to increase. When you look at the bottom 5, it's hard to complain about anything defensively because they were all the defense was so awesome. But your bottom 5, lowest graded player was Tamarcus Cooley, Javen Toviano, Jacobian Guillory, West Weeks, and Gabe Relaford. That was your bottom 5. But none of them were awful. I mean, what Cooley got hit with was he was targeted 3 times and gave up 3 receptions. And when you're a defensive back and you're targeted 3 times, you give up 3 receptions, that's going to be part of it. As far as but the thing that was, I think, also notable about Cooley was his versatility. He played 5 snaps in the box, 28 at free safety, 24 in the slot. They moved him all over. He had 1 body slam tackle, which was great. Love to see the physicality. Somebody's got to be at the bottom of the list. It just so happened that it was Tamarcus Cooley, but I don't think anybody on this defense played poorly. It would be hard to find fault with anything anybody did on the defensive side of the ball. If you flip it over to offense, your top 5 offensively were Aaron Anderson, Garrett Nussmeier, Braylon Moore, Caden Durham, Trey'Dez Green. Anderson obviously was fantastic in this football game. He was targeted, Aaron Anderson made 6 catches with 56 yards after the catch. Of course, the big 39-yard catch and run was massive on the 1st and 20. 5 of his 6 catches converted first downs. He was really good, and that's what started to loosen up the game when LSU and Joe Sloan made that adjustment in the short passing game, and Aaron Anderson was the beneficiary. Garrett Nussmeier was awesome. He did not have a single turnover-worthy play offensively. He didn't need to go throw for 350, 400 yards in this ball game. You needed Garrett Nussmeier to be efficient, protect the football, get you into the right running plays. He did all of those things. Nuss even converted 3 first downs with his feet. The third highest rated player, as you mentioned, was Braylon Moore. One of the things that absolutely jumps off the page when you look at these Pro Football Focus numbers from Saturday, when you look at the blocking grades, you had 3 players with a pass blocking grade in the 80s. Braylon Moore had an 85. Josh Thompson had an 84. Paul Mabenga had an 81. That's your your center and your 2 guards. Your center and your 2 guards all had pass blocking grades in the 80s. The big concern about blowing up the launch pad, where last year DJ Chester was such a liability in the middle, and when Garrett Dellinger got hurt, you had Mabenga at left guard. Like, that was a problem for this offensive line a year ago. To have Moore, Thompson, the reason you went and got Moore and Thompson, 2 veteran players who were 2-year starters in the Power 4, was because of this. They were going to be able to go on the road in front of that defense with All-Americans like Woods and Parker and Helt, and not be intimidated or moved by the environment or anything they saw, because they're super experienced players. From the first day of fall camp, Braylon Moore was installed as the center. Brian Kelly said it in the media availability after that first practice that Braylon Moore was going to be their center. They never moved off of that, and you were rewarded by it. I also found it interesting that they gave a lot of help to the tackles. Donovan Green was in on 8 snaps. Nick Anderson played 24. Nick Anderson played 24 snaps. Whenever, I guess we should mention, the one injury in the game was Destin Hill. Destin Hill got the start and only played. Destin Hill played 2 snaps and then got hurt. Was told it was an upper body injury. Don't know what it was, but then he came out. So Nick Anderson ended up playing that role. And of his 24 snaps, 13 of them were run blocking. And you had, forgive me, y'all, I'm toggling here, trying to get everything here. But sorry, my apologies. I'm toggling back and forth on this page. But anyway, the point is, Nick Anderson was blocking a lot. You had Nick Anderson blocking. You had Donovan Green, Bauer Sharp, and Caden Durham combined to pass protect on about half of Garrett Nussmeier's passing attempts, which goes to tell you they were giving the tackles help, which they needed. But all in all, I thought the offensive line held up remarkably well in the football game. The bottom 5, Chris Hilton was your lowest rated player, then Bauer Sharp, Weston Davis, Nick Anderson, and Paul Mabenga. Yes, it's disappointing that in the bottom 5, you had 2 of your starting offensive linemen with Davis and Mabenga. But as we talked about, Mabenga's pass blocking grade was outstanding with an 81. He just wasn't very good run blocking. I mean, the first play of the game, they ran behind Mabenga on the left side. Play almost got blown up. Caden Durham broke a tackle, went back around to the right side and ran for 24 yards. Bauer Sharp is down at the bottom. He gets dinged for the fumble, which Pro Football Focus will ding you for that. That's why he's so low, but he was fine. Bauer Sharp's pass blocking grade was a 74. His run blocking grade was a 58. That's got to get better, but he was fine. The issue with Sharp was the fumble. Chris Hilton's grade, I'm just not worried about. Like it just wasn't his day. When you're this deep at receiver, and I asked Garrett Nussmeier this question at media days. I asked Joe Sloan this question when we had media availability with him in fall camp. Like some version of when you have this many weapons, how do you keep everybody happy? And on Saturday, 6 different players ran the football and 9 different players caught a pass. So I think they did a good job of spreading it around. but there's going to be days where it's just not Chris Hilton's day. And this was one of those days where, because LSU was respectful of Clemson's pass rush, they just didn't throw vertical routes very often. I mean, they threw the one to Darian Brown that you got a touchdown robbed from you, but it just wasn't Chris Hilton's day. This was Aaron Anderson. This was Avion Thomas. This was Juwan Johnson in the flat. This was Bauer Sharp. You had to, I mean, this was a day where, throwing the football at or near the line of scrimmage was going to be more, paramount, in the game. For Garrett Nussmeier, there were 3 shots that went beyond 20 yards in the air. 3. The whole game. They lived within 10 yards. It was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 23, 24, 27 of Garrett Nussmeier's passes were traveled inside of 10 yards. 27 of his, was it 39 attempts? So the point is, this was just a game where it wasn't Chris Hilton's game. Louisiana Tech, when you're not as worried about the pass rush, this could be a big week this week for Chris Hilton. There's going to be other days like that, but these guys are just going to have to be patient, because everybody can't eat every Saturday. You're going to have to pick your spots. I'm not worried about Chris Hilton. He'll be fine. It just wasn't his day on Saturday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us. We are going to talk. We'll do the Pro Football Focus recap every Monday. I always say about PFF, it's not the metric, it's a metric. It's just something to consider. And generally, when we all are watching the game, we look at the ball. We're looking at whoever has the ball in their hand and where the ball's going. Pro Football Focus looks at everything. So a lot of times it'll encompass things, snap counts, formations, different things that maybe we're not paying attention to while we're watching. It's why I like to pay a little attention to it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone. Hey, tomorrow, September the 2nd, the Louisiana Department of Insurance is opening up the next round of grants for fortified roofing. If you're not familiar, a fortified roof it's an extra layer of protection designed to prevent water intrusion. So wind blows, knocks off shingles, you have roof damage. It adds an extra layer of protection to prevent water from getting into your home, which of course then creates even bigger issues when you get water in your house, your sheetrock, on the contents of your home. Then you have a big mess. So LDI is offering $510,000 grants for fortified roof. This session is available to the coastal areas and parts of southwest Louisiana. You go to the Louisiana Department of Insurance's website to find out more information about it, how you can apply. It is a lottery system, but there is a line where you can choose your preferred contractor, and Parish Construction and Roofing is a certified fortified roofing company. We were actually the first certified fortified roofing company in the state of Louisiana. So Louisiana-based, I should say, the first Louisiana-based certified fortified roofing company. So we'd love the opportunity. If you're going to apply for that grant, choose Parish Construction Roofing as your roofing contractor of choice. Parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. Usually do Tigers and the Pros here in about a dozen minutes from right now. The Saints cut a former All-Pro today. I want to talk about that as we continue on AFR.
After Further Review.
You might have noticed that when the Tigers beat the other Tigers on Saturday, Trey'Dez Green caught the game-winning touchdown pass. Well, very happy to announce that Trey'Dez Green is now a partner with Duplessis Builders. I keep telling you all the time, man. The guy Derek Duplessis, proud LSU alum, mechanical engineering with a minor in aerospace engineering, but that he's going to build you a beautiful pool. Tell you all the time, he gives you the 10-year workmanship warranty, but they also support the Tigers. And so when you call Duplessis, you're supporting the Tigers. I did an NIL shoot with Duplessis a few weeks back where we're talking to 3 of the biggest recruits in this class, Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, Bryson Martinez. Well, Trey'Dez Green is now on the Duplessis team as well. So be on the lookout for more content with Trey'Dez Green in it, and be sure to support Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
The Kellen Moore era will open Sunday in the Dome against Arizona. Saints are a 6.5-point underdog in that game. Ellen Moore opened up the week with some surprising news, man. The Saints cut JT Gray today. JT Gray is a former All-Pro special teamer. He was a first-team All-Pro special teamer and a second-team All-Pro special teamer. And he's been the special teams captain for the New Orleans Saints. And he's a backup safety on the team who's been with the team since he signed as a UDFA back in 2018. So he's entering his 8th NFL season, and I guess this just came out of nowhere. I'd like to congratulate the Denver Broncos because they're about to get a former All-Pro special teamer because that's just what Sean Payton does. By the way, hat tip, Nick Underhill was the first to report it. Kellen Moore, after practice, when he met with reporters, talked about the decision, or I shouldn't say after practice, in his meeting with reporters on Mondays, talked about the decision to release JT Gray.
A lot of this comes down to the roster flexibility, and that's the challenging part of it. We know the high-quality player that he is, the impact he's had on this organization. He's a really good player. Just with the roster as you kind of play the roster management part of this thing over the course of this season and throughout the next few weeks. There's a lot of challenges associated with that, and so it was a really tough one for us to do.
Moore was non-committal about whether or not Gray could return on the practice squad. He was asked if they would call someone up for a JT Gray spot. Here's what he said.
We're kind of in the moving a few pieces around, and so obviously we'll probably make some corresponding moves. And, I think a part of this is just there's a lot of moves that you kind of have to navigate the first few weeks of the season. And we have some, guys on PUP and some guys on IR that certainly we anticipate eventually, being a part of this thing. And so you got to have the roster flexibility just to navigate all these moving pieces.
They did add, by the way, all this news is at LouisianaSports.net if you want to go read up on all of it, the JT Gray piece. The Saints did add 2 players today. Defensive tackle Keziah Izzard has been added to the practice squad, and outside linebacker pass rusher Iku Leota has also been added to the practice squad. I don't know if either of those guys necessarily fills the void from JT Gray as a special teamer, but remember, these are practice squad ads. These are not active roster ads. JT Gray was on the 53-man active roster, so they're either going to have to sign a free agent to their active roster or sign someone from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. So what direction they go, we'll have to wait and see what they do. But this is one I certainly did not see coming because you just haven't seen any kind of drop-off in JT Gray's play. And the leadership is another thing that's so important as you're trying to tie these two eras together, right? You have the sort of Peyton, Dennis Allen era guys bridging with the new guys coming in with Kellen Moore. And I can certainly appreciate Moore wanting to bring in his own guys, but there are dudes like Cam Jordan and Demario Davis, Eric McCoy, guys that are veterans on this football team that are key glue guys, and JT Gray certainly seemed to be that guy on special teams. I mean, he's a special teams captain. So that's not an easy one to fill. My hope is this is an opportunity to get younger. Maybe a young guy like Jordan Howden, who you used a 5th-round draft pick on a couple of years ago, who hasn't been able to wrangle a starting spot in the secondary. Obviously, you went and spent in free agency this year, and you drafted Jonas Sanker. You brought in Reed. Maybe that's a spot where someone like Howden can earn a role. I don't know. I'm just throwing his name out there. I don't know definitively that'd be the guy. I'm just giving you a for instance. But my hope is you take a guy that's entering his 8th year in JT Gray, and in cutting him, you get younger. But it is so interesting. You look at this team and you wonder, are they really trying to win? Not adding a veteran quarterback, riding with these 2 young guys. You're going to play 2 young tackles. You really don't have an answer at corner opposite Kool-Aid and McKinstry. I mean, is Isaac Yadam really that guy? Now you take a veteran and JT Gray and you show him the door. It's interesting, to say the least, the approach. This is just not one that I would have anticipated seeing today. All right, it is After Further Review. We are brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Natural artesian water, a healthier alternative, and a Louisiana product. Find Evamore at great local retailers. If they don't have Evamore where you shop, ask them why not. It's a Louisiana product. Again, it's from these ancient underground aquifers. This is something that never touches air until you uncap it and take that first delicious sip. It's piped straight out of that well into their bottling plant. The only thing that's filtered out is just the sediment from the ground. There's nothing added, nothing taken away. It's Evamore. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. That's Evamore.com. Drink Evamore. One other thing with the New Orleans Saints as they get ready for their opener that's absolutely disgusting is they are going to open up the Kellen Moore era in absolutely hideous fashion. And I mean that in a literal sense, hideous fashion. The Saints are going to wear their new alternate gold jerseys week 1 against Arizona. So they're going to open up the home season by wearing those awful black helmets, the gaudy gold, and black pants. I'm not sure there is a worse combination, literally, in the NFL than what we're going to see the New Orleans Saints wear on Sunday. So you cut an all-pro special teamer and a team captain and decide you're going to wear literally the ugliest uniform in the NFL in week 1. Go get them. No way to drum up excitement like, hey, if the old adage is look good, play good, you look like crap, you play like crap, I think we're going to expect that from New Orleans on Sunday. It's After Further Review presented by Relief Windows. We'll wrap up hour number 2. Musa will have Tigers and the Pros next.
After Further Review.
So today's a holiday, right? If you're at home, 89 degrees right now, and your AC's not pumping cold air, don't wait till tomorrow. Call River City's 1 Hour Air right now. So I tell you all the time, nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. Because when it's 100 degrees, heat index plus in Louisiana in the summer, you can't go without having air conditioning. And River City's 1 Hour Air knows that. So they'll always come out, nights, holidays, weekends. If you've got an issue with your AC, call 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. They're always on time or you don't pay a dime. And when that technician comes to your house, they're never going to try to upsell you. They're never going to force service on you you don't need. They're going to give you all of your options, and you decide what's best for your family and your budget. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Monday shows. We appreciate so much Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Wishing you and everyone a very happy Labor Day. But we're always happy to work on Labor Day because it means college football has started. And especially this Labor Day because LSU won. And it is a wonderful, wonderful time to come do this show on a Monday on Labor Day after a win, which we've not been able to do for the last 5 years. Right now, Muso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, Paul Skeens took the mound over the weekend, and he was awesome. Yet again, 6 innings, an earned run, punched out 6. He got the win. He's now 9-9. Paul Skeens officially at 500. Look,
all right.
We have a month left.
All
we have
right.
a month left in the regular
season.
season.
Screw it up for him, Pirates.
Like, if they can't get him above 500 with a month left.
Has there been a Cy Young winner with a losing record?
I'd have to look that up. I do not know it off the top of my head. But Skeens was awesome. He's at 9-9. We'll see if they can continue. Kevin Gausman also took the mound over the weekend, and he was incredible. 7 innings, an earned run, no walks, 8 punch-outs. He got the Paul Skeens treatment, though. The Blue Jays only scored 1 run, and he got a no decision. Sorry about that, Kevo, but good outing nonetheless.
Eric Gagne.
He didn't stink.
Well, he was a reliever.
Yeah.
So, he was 3 and 4. It's really, you only get. I mean, it's rare that a reliever is going to get
the Cy Young
get a decision. So that's why 120 ERA with 55 saves. Eric Gagne won it back in 2003 with a losing record. But no starting pitcher has ever won the Cy Young with a losing record.
Paul Skeens could be the first, but we're hoping he gets above 500. Give me 10 and 9. Give me 10 and 9. Jaden Hill on the bump.
I kind of want to see him have a losing
record. Come on. There's plenty of time for that. He's under team control forever. Jaden Hill shutout inning of relief with a strikeout. He got a hold, his first of the season. Limited time at the big club, but he's been really good, a 3.86 ERA. Josh Smith on Sunday. Yeah. This is a big one. 2 for 2 for Smith, his 22nd double of the season. Also drove in a run, 3 walks. He was on base every single time he went to the plate. Came around to score twice. Jake Fraley in a pinch hit role for the Atlanta Braves on Sunday. 2 for 2 himself. Both of those were singles. He would come around to score a run. Since joining the Atlanta Braves, Fraley's hitting .556.
Hey.
Change of scenery. It does guys well, yeah. Angel Reese on Sunday, a double-double, 20 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 10 rebounds. How's that for a double-double? Really, really solid there. And the Chicago Sky lost again because they stink. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. You know, at Lee Michaels, something I probably should stress even more is that they have more industry-educated associates throughout the state than any other jeweler. So when you go to Lee Michaels, you can go and learn what makes a diamond a diamond. What characteristics are you looking for? What makes someone say, wow, that's beautiful? And you never have to feel the pressure to buy today at Lee Michaels. You want to go try on 1,000 different pieces of jewelry? Go do it. They're never going to pressure you. Buying a beautiful piece of jewelry should be a wonderful experience. The experience and the jewelry, something that you and your family will cherish forever and for generations. They want the experience of buying that piece of jewelry to be just as wonderful. That's why they call it the Lee Michaels experience. Learn more at lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Find the location nearest you, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. I want to get Ross Jackson in here so we can go through all the Saints news today. We haven't talked yet about the Bama thing. Bama lost to Florida State. I might have some. We'll see if we can do it. We'll see. We'll see if we can get to it.
AFR.
Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. I know so many of you right now. So many of you right now are getting ready for deer season. And so many of you right now are dreading that you have to share a lease. I know, I don't hunt. Y'all know that, I don't hunt. But I know a lot of you do. What if next year you're hunting on your own lease, your own property? You can do it. First South Farm Credit can help. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Not only will your own property give you, the opportunity to freedom to hunt on your own property, but land could also be tax deductible. You incur expenses. Ask your CPA the benefits of owning recreational timber land. First South Farm Credit can help. First South